Good morning. He was home last night. Pack is packed up. Now it's time to pack the tent away and march north. Believe this, 64 as a low last night. The ground is also so dry here that as I roll up my tent, it's not picking up the dirt from the ground finally. Alrighty, time to roll. 7:30 a.m., 64 degrees. About an hour or so after sunrise. Takes about a half hour to break camp. So, here we are, hiking the Appalachian Trail, going for a walk in the woods. I did have both of my tent flaps open last night, so we had lots of air circulation. It was a beautiful night last night. Good morning and welcome to the Appalachian Trail. We are Stick the Eagle and we are hiking northbound on the Appalachian Trail from Springer Mountain, Georgia to Katahdin, Maine. We are starting from mile 2055 today out of 2197 on day 138 of our journey that we've been embracing out here. If you're new, welcome to you. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Hope you enjoy following along for today's journey. Probably include some river fords today, although we'll see if those happen to be rock cups because of the dry, recent weather like the others have been. But for now, let's keep on heading northbound. A bit rocky here. I actually had to sit down for a section on a rock to get down, so I pulled out a pure protein bar from Mark. So thank you. I'm going to have a fuller breakfast when I get to the shelter. I did not have the peak refuel last night that I planned to because I got in later than I expected to a campsite. It was getting dark. So I'll have a good meal when I get to the shelter. That's my plan. Little swamp here. Thank you for going around it this time, AT, rather than directly through it to give us different terrain. Oh, we found the power lines. I like how they left this tree after clearing the rest because there's a blaze on it or something. I also think the birdhouse is a neat touch. Looks like we've about located Moxie Pond. About the way we came. Cool. Arrow's pointing us to follow this road for a little bit. Walk under the same power lines again. But look, there's Moxie Pond. Cool, right? No snowmobiling. Okay. This is when the Appalachian Trail is in some of its widest sections. Appalachian Trail, Main Highway 15 is 24.8 miles. That's where we're getting off for Shaw's. And Bingham is 14 miles. If you had to listen to that sign and walk down the road to Bingham to a town because of flooded rivers, for example, in this area, you'd at least know, hey, there's a town 14 miles down that road. I can get there. Pretty easy rock hop here across this stream. Far Out says that during wet seasons, the rocks can be entirely submerged and slippery, so be careful. Easy ford today. Okay, this is the Appalachian Trail. It says, caution construction ahead. Huh? On the Appalachian Trail? Usually I just get construction ahead on roads. What? I understand now. This tape here tells us that there was construction going on the power lines over here. That makes a little more sense. It's like right lane closed ahead, merge left. Caution, work area. I'm crossing the power lines again. Just a gradual grade uphill right now. Looking forward to stopping at the shelter, having a meal. I do feel a bit hungry this morning. All right, a nice easy trail that I've been flying down immediately turns into this. It's probably just short. Yep, just a little boulder field to cross the stream. We do have a mountain coming up today. We'll have some good views. Right after the shelter, we're going to be climbing a mountain, Moxie Bald or Bald Mountain. There's been a few of those bald mountains, but there's one final one coming up today. About 2,600 feet, I think. Supposedly great views from there. It is time for water refills. I'm empty, and food at Bald Mountain Brook. Very low today, but enough water to get water. This is literally what their water crossing looks like. Wow. I found a little spot in the stream where I can get good water from. So now that I have 2 chicken alfredo pastas, here we go. I eat one of them, and I saved the last one for my last meal. As I'm packing up, did you see the butterfly? Of course I saw the butterfly. Your creation beautiful. And here begins the 1,300-foot climb up Bald Mountain from Bald Mountain Lean-To and Bald Mountain Brook, where we got our water from. On the other side of Bald Mountain, and some fantastic views, is Bald Mountain Pond. Let's go north. Steady goes it up the mountain, not too steep yet. My, you are beautiful. Your creation is beautiful, God. Some of the moss alongside trail is turning red or brown or whatever. Is that because it's fall? Does moss do that in the fall? It's so hot out, it's time for another liquid IV. Thank you to Mark for supplying these and MP3 for recommending them. It's 73 degrees right now at 11:30, which typically pretty pleasant, except when you're actively climbing a mountain and you're putting more of a workout in, then it's a little too hot. But for walking flat, it's perfect. To think a week ago today, I'm pretty sure I was wearing like my winter hat and my windbreaker on Saddleback Mountain because it was cold. I just wanted to get down out of the wind. Wow, how it changes. A lot more bedrock climbing. Not at a steep angle, but bedrock climbing. Wow, I'm already at the Bad Weather Bypass Trail. I didn't think I was going that quickly. That's so cool. It's so tall. I think this part may be the steepest part, the final point forward to the summit. This is kind of a cool rock formation. AT has us going right through here. Hello there, cave. It's a very skinny cave. Ooh, there's more to it. It's a thicker cave. And the trail is going right under this cool rock formation. 12 o'clock tip today is to check out cool places like this. Now this one happens to be right on the Appalachian Trail, but many are not. I recommend checking out any side quests that are a quarter mile or less away from the trail. Really worth it, and who knows when you'll be back. So that's my tip for you today. Embrace the side quests. Even if it's not in the Appalachian Trail, even if it's on just a little bit of a hike you're on or a different trail and something cool is a quarter mile away, you're out there anyway. Go check it out. Enjoy. Have fun. And I just had a thought that embracing the side quests can apply to life too, because you may have something come up that's unexpected that you did not plan into your day. Happens on trail all the time. It also happens in life. Embrace that side quest. Be okay with it interrupting your planned day for a little bit and try it out. Maybe you're on a road trip and something catches your eye. Maybe you have a surprise request from a friend who happens to be in town and you haven't seen in a while. And you planned other things for the day, but nothing that can't be done later or tomorrow or something like that. So when something unexpected happens, yeah, don't always do everything, but embrace a side quest. I'm trying to do this while I walk a jumble of routes, but just saying, look at that nice view. Just saying, a side quest can really turn your day around sometimes. Waterfalls turned my day around before, so I think it could for you too. That's Pleasant Pond, I believe, down there where we were yesterday. I lied. That's Moxie Pond, and then that is Pleasant Pond Mountain, and Pleasant Pond on the other side of that mountain. Take a look out there. There's Pond Mountain, right? But there, off in the distance, is the Bigelows. Cool how you can see the Bigelows right there. The farthest ridge, the pointy ones. Pond Mountain, Bigelows, far ridge there, and the Saddlebacks is the farthest, faintest ridge right there. Our climb is not done, but that's so fun looking back and seeing where we've been. This is why they have a bad weather bypass, because it's so exposed up here. Look at that. You can see the whole of Moxie Pond there, and Pond Mountain, Bigelows, Sugarloaf, and Saddlebacks. Here we go. I think that's the top. Well, it's the sign. It's not quite. There's the sign for the top. This thing is so tall. Oh, so the peak of Moxie Bald is not actually on the Appalachian Trail. The peak is over there. Of course we're gonna go do that. Moxie Bald Mountain has a higher rock to stand on over here and over here to get good views of the north. The 100-mile wilderness lays before us there, and that is the direction of Katahdin. Nope, can't quite make it out. I thought I might be able to, but it's out there somewhere, hiding in the haze. So yeah, I just looked because I was curious. I can just make out the Saddleback Range, which is 80 miles behind me, and Katahdin is 134 miles ahead. So I have about 80 miles of vision right now. So Katahdin is out of that range. There's a great view of Bald Mountain Lake, I think, where we're going down to. Yeah, Bald Mountain Lake. Don't mind us, just a little walk along this beautiful ledge here, looking out at some pretty awesome views. Other side of the Summit Bypass Trail, we are going down, and I don't know what that is. Temperature now at 1:30 in the afternoon is up to 78 degrees here in September, Maine. That's the north peak of Bald Mountain over there. AT does not go over that. It comes down and there's a side trail to it. I don't see the need to go there because it'll be very similar views and it's not like a 4K. Looks like somebody definitely recently bushwhacked this section. And whoever you are, thank you. So we don't have to whack through bushes like that. Appalachian Trail. And there's the North Peak Side Trail, 0.7 miles to the North Peak. Like I said earlier, no need to do that. Continuing the Appalachian Trail. Very similar views, extra 1.4 miles. No need. This will be a fun little sit and scramble type place. Been a pretty tame descent down the mountain, being careful with roots and rocks, but mostly the dirt is slipperier. Oh, okay, down tree. People went away on this way, so I'll do that. Most of the dirt is slipperier than rocks and roots now because they're all dry. I'm like never looking at what I'm capturing when I do trail cam videos, but it usually turns out okay. Here's an example of how dry this soil is. People have slipped on that dry soil because it's just like crumbling down. It's so dry. So I just stepped over this log and down here. I also looked on far out. I apparently passed a water source about a third of a mile back, but I didn't see any water. I have enough water, and there's a stagnant yellowish stream there, probably that's flowing into Moxie Pond. I have enough water. I still have 1.5 liters from the before the hill, but some of the reliable water sources that say they're reliable are beginning to run dry. So this is an example. Far out says that there's a large stream flowing just to the south of the Moxie Pond shelter, or the Bald Mountain shelter, whatever it is. Well, it may be a large stream, but it's not flowing right now. Horseshoe Canyon lean-to, that is our goal, 8.9. It's only 2:30 today. There's a picnic table here. I thought those were extinct. Haven't seen one since Vermont, I think. There is Moxie Pond from the lean-to perspective. We're not staying here very long, but I had to come check out the pond. What do we know here? We know Casper, 7 days to go. Frizzle, today is so humid. I agree, today is humid and warm. And Nichols caught in the rain. There's Quasimodo. He's 3 days ahead of me now. Wow. Very quick privy stop over here. Very, very nice here. I'm glad we filled up with water before the hill because I wouldn't want to fill up with the water sources here, either the pond or that large stream. Large stream. Marked as the water source and far out. Bone dry. You know what? Something I should say as I walk this relatively mild section of trail is that my pastor at my home church told me that he was praying for my ankle, since I've been updating him along with close family and friends. And I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to jinx it or think it went away under placebo. But he said as soon as he heard about my ankle, he's been praying for it. And you know what? I think God answers prayers because I haven't felt a thing. Well, here's a stagnant water source. Far out says that's a reliable rocky stream. Stagnant water. But anyway, thank you, Pastor, for praying. I think those prayers worked, and thank you, God. Hey everyone, small request of you. Do you want to see the channel stay active? You know, the Stick the Eagle channel. Stay active after my hike. If so, what would you guys actually watch? What would you be interested in? Because obviously when I go back to work, it won't be long distance hiking. I know many of you subscribed for that reason, or for the Appalachian Trail specifically. So I'm sure if we did other content, I'd lose some of you. But what would you all be actually interested in watching? Anything specific? Any content? I'm trying to think about it right now. of course, if many of you are just along for the hike and want to see me finish and then go on to new adventures and new hikers next year, that's awesome. And I support that. But life has to move on in my chapter, and I will probably keep you all updated with major life events. But as far as that, I'm not sure yet. One thing I will be scheduling is a YouTube live at some point in the month after my hike is concluded. Depends on what happens in my life, but should be within the month. And I'd love to get other members of the Tremoli involved in that too, but can't speak for them or their availability. Mile 2066, reliable stream. Far out says cross a wide stream on rocks. Here's the rocks. Stagnant pools. So dry out here. And a comment from 10 days ago says flowing right along. That's how much things can change. And I guarantee you, if it rained hard, that'd be flowing again right along. The last day we had any rain at all was day 129, the overnight with frizzle on South Arm Road. That was 9 days ago, because today is day 138. Just ran into a grandmother hiking with her grandson southbound with flip-flop. They actually started on February 18th from Springer, went to McAfee Knob, and then did other portions in the middle, and then coming back to Katahdin, going down to Vermont or Massachusetts or something, and then finishing up Virginia, and they're going to finish at McAfee Knob. So they still have the whites ahead of them, potentially early October. Wish them well with those. But that's fun. Grandmother hiking with her grandson, doing a through hike. So I was saying the last time it rained at all was day 129, which was 8 days ago. Any rain at all. And the last time I pulled my pack cover out and used my pack cover when it was raining on me was the day I was trying to hike up Mount Adams. Whatever day that was. Plenty of days before that. That was day 119, 10 days before that. So, since day 119, I have not used my pack cover. That's how we've been blessed with such good weather, and the only rain in between there was an overnight rain. We didn't get a lot of rain, maybe ½ inch to an inch. But so it's rained max 1 inch in the last 19 days. Another one of our streams here, Bald Mountain Stream. They say the stream flows very fast here, so be very careful when crossing. Looks like a dry crossing using the rock and the log. No need to ford. Just to make things interesting. Met another southbounder. We are still running into them on September 16th. There's just enough rocks here on the trail to make me have to think about every step rather than just going 2 miles per hour. So it slows me down a bit because I have to think about every step. Just enough rocks to think through every step, all uneven. We are trying to get to the Horseshoe Canyon lean-to tonight, which puts us 9 miles from Shaw's, where it'll be nice to have a slower day again in the afternoon if we can make it there. So Horseshoe Canyon is 6 miles out. It's 4 o'clock right now, so we need to have a 2 mile per hour pace if we're going to get there by sunset, but I'll probably push there regardless of sunset or not. Now that's a bit better. Just a tree hazard, step over, but glad it didn't last too long. Of course, you never know what the trail ahead looks like, so always be prepared to change your plan. If it gets really complicated for whatever reason, or if there's just those rocks the entire way, I've got to be okay with finding a stealth site a few miles short of the shelter, and I would be. I think I'd come to that decision. I think I'm a reasonable person, hopefully, most of the time. Testing me, are ya? You ever think about what it's like to be a rock? People stepping on you all day, sometimes getting mad that you're just there, that you exist. But at the same time, you know how very special you are. Look at all those pretty maple leaves. You know how very special you are because you make up the trail. If it weren't for you as the rock, the trail would just erode and disappear. You, as a rock, hold the trail in place. You are also a hiker's friend when there's a river crossing or when there's a mud pit, because hikers can step on you, animals too. And you make up the very backbone of the mountains that we climb to enjoy the views. If there were no rocks, the pile of dirt would just flatten out before too long at all. So the rock and being a rock is actually a very important job, and we should appreciate them more than we do. I appreciate you, Rock, for being here. You too, Rock, and you too. Yes, you too, Rock. Every one of you. I think some of these rocks were places like stepping stones to walk through the mud pits that are not mud pits right now. Because they're very much appreciated being spaced as they are when there's a whole bunch of mud around. Yeah, I think some of these were placed here on purpose, even though we don't need them today. Well, it looks like autumn, even if it doesn't feel like autumn, being 75 degrees. But leaves in the ground, trees changing colors a little bit, beginning to look like autumn. There's really no choice but to step on these rocks, even though it's not really muddy. This is a beautiful path. Yeah, like you said, you never know what kind of path you're gonna get. Rocky like the one a mile back, muddy, or beautiful like this. Love it. Beautiful day for a walk. Met 2 more southbounders today. So that's 4 southbounders in the day today, going from Katahdin to Springer. And 2 more Sobo Thru-Hikers. So that's like 6 Sobo Thru-Hikers today that I've met. So that's cool. And they told me, last 2 I just met, told me that there's 12 Noble Thru-Hikers that they passed today. So that means there's 12 ahead of me. I probably know a number of them from people who have passed me, but I haven't seen another Noble hiker at all today. So it's, you never know how far people are ahead or behind or vice versa, unless somebody going the other direction tells you. I can't believe how cruisy and nice this particular section is laid out. 5 o'clock update, 4.3 miles ahead of the shelter. 2 mile per hour pace is looking pretty good right now. Who here remembers the 10th person of the original Tramily? Yeah, it became 9, but anybody remember the 10th person? Let me know. Those are my checking poles. All right, this is Godfather. Who remembers Godfather? He did like 35 miles and then a 0. Like 30 plus miles every day, but then he took a lot of zeros. And he was big on trail running. And you may have seen my trail running video back into Irwin, Tennessee, which is very cruisy. And I was thinking of him, and I thought I'd try it out because he encourages all to try trail running on nice trails, because he did that a lot. And this trail made me think of him. This would be a good type of trail that you could trail run on without rocks, roots, or anything. It's just soil. Unfortunately, Godfather got off trail in Vermont with an injury, so he's not going to finish his Thru-Hike this year, as far as I'm aware. But still thinking of you, Godfather. The original 10th. Well, that's the trail. People have going down there and then underneath the tree that way. We always thought Godfather was going to outrun us. And then there he was at the next hostel, drinking beers, having a good time, and then sometimes feeling too sick the next morning to get up and hike, so it turned into a 00. And then it passed us like 2 days later at his usual breakneck speed. It was a fun time we had back then in North Carolina and Virginia. I think Virginia was the last time I saw him. I remember the speech he gave us, like not all 10 of us, I think all 10 of us, maybe 9 of us were all together at one shelter. One of the shelters where we all like night hiked out the next morning, somewhere in North Carolina. He was like, I'm so proud of you all, because we had all done 20s. And he told us, I've never been with this large of a group that all did 20s in the same day. So he's like, I'm so proud of you all. I'll always remember that Godfather-y talk by Godfather around that campfire circle. That campfire circle, I believe, was the thumbnail of that video, whatever day it was, in North Carolina. Bonus points if you can name the 8 others of the Tramley. So you have Godfather, myself. Who are the other 8? Bonus points. I found out that mud actually still exists in Maine. Marble Brook. Interesting little crossing here. There might be a dry crossing over at that point right there. Success. We did that one. But there is another little brook here. Is that jumpable? That might be jumpable. Totally jumpable here. Nice. And Far Out said no dry crossing was possible. I spy a little campsite down there. Cross the west branch of the Piscataquis River or something like that, as it flows around a small island, as Far Out says. The water can move very quickly and be waist deep at times, so be very careful when crossing. That's exactly what the Far Out description of this place says. Very, maybe dry? I don't know, balancing on that log? Somebody put that log down, or a rock hop over there? Possible. I went up there, the log's a little wobbly. You know what, I'm just gonna ford it. It'll feel good for the feet. And I wanna make sure I keep these shoes and socks dry as they are right now. So we use these very convenient hooks to hook my shoes to my backpack, put the socks inside, and we are ready to wade in this river. Honestly, this ankle deep wading does feel pretty good. All right, onward. I'm glad I forded that. It's good for the feet. 6 o'clock, 2.5 miles out. Lost a little bit of time in the river crossing, but I enjoyed that. It was so refreshing. So 2.5 miles, 6 o'clock. We will get there 7:15, something like that, right at dusk. We'll see how the trail looks like from here on out. It's nice. We're walking along the river here. Keep looking out and thinking like rock cut would have been possible here. So many rocks here, but I'm not worrying about that because I actually enjoyed that ford. There are places of the trail that are not quite so easy with roots and some ups and downs. So we're not going to fly through this stretch. I think we are going to get there slightly after dark. But we have enough juice in our headlamp left for that if we need to. Why in the world are we going all the way up here? I know that the shelter's next to the river and the river's down there. We're just going to go back down again. We made it to the top of this little ridge up here, and now we're on our way back down. I can see the river again. We're going right back to where we were, next to the river. I'm sorry, but that was a pointless up and down, if there ever was one, knowing I was going right back to the river. Hi, river. We're going back up. We're going back up. I had to take my red shirt back off and put it on for the evening river walk. And now those two up hills recently have exhausted me. I'm back close to the ridgeline again, sitting on a birch tree, drawing another ½ liter of water. We're going back down the hill next. Either ridge walk or river walk. You can't have both. Well, apparently you can. Oh, it's 6:45. I still have a 1.5 miles to go. So drink more water and press on. But it's been fun having you along for day 138 on the Appalachian Trail. If you'd like to follow along for more AT content, please be sure to subscribe if you have not done so already. And you can also follow along on my Instagram account by the same handle, @StickTheEagle. But I haven't been able to post daily there because I've been out of service quite a bit. But I will post as I can. Now it's been in jumbles. Anyway, always remember, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, and whatever the trail provides you with, to embrace the journey and happy trails. Here we go, back down to the river. Hey, just realized too, this is an 18-mile day. So that's the longest we've had since the 3rd day of New Hampshire back in June. So pretty good day. After our 3rd climb up to the ridge here, I can tell you that my momentum is totally gone. River's down there. We're still climbing a little bit. Why don't we go back down and say hi to the river in case I forgot it's there? Why not? Why not? I do love the sound of a rushing river. I like walking by it. It's beautiful. I've been beginning to look for possible stealth spots as we make our way up the ridge a 4th time, because I now feel exhausted. But when you're on the side of a mountain like this, that's often to no avail. We're still a mile out from the shelter. Yes, we are climbing this ridge a 4th time. We love you, AT. More of the beautiful evening walk I was thinking I was going to have. I think that's just AT teaching me one more lesson about expectations. And I was 2 miles out from the river. The Appalachian Trail loves us in its own beautiful way. If anybody asks again why I have 2 headlamps, this is why. Because this is my 4th night hiking with a headlamp, and my first headlamp is dead. We're going up the hill again. 5th time's the charm. I have been ridiculed a couple times for carrying 2 headlamps. Like, oh, you're carrying 2 ounces of extra weight. Why do you need 2 headlamps? Well, this is when I feel good about myself for bringing the 2nd headlamp. Because this is the 4th consecutive night of night hiking. I don't usually do this. There is a bunny directly ahead of me on the trail, hopping down the trail northbound. That's funny. Just beautiful cascades right here. I'm trying to shine my light on it so you can see it. I'm not sure how good it comes out, but beautiful, peaceful. It is 7:30 when we reach our illustrious lean-to. I've drained my water with all those ups and downs, but for the record, 7 ups, 7 downs to get to the Horseshoe Canyon lean-to. I might take that as biblical.